Okay, today we're looking at slopes of lines, and our goal is to find the slopes of lines. So the definition of slope is that the slope of a line through two distinct points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, is the change in y over the change in x. That's sometimes referred to as the rise over the run, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y2 minus y1 is a vertical change. It's the rise. We can see that on the picture here. And the x2 minus x1 is the run, the horizontal change from one point to the next. Alrighty, so we're going to use this slope formula in order to find the slope of a line. So over here we've got the slope of line P. So on line P here, you can actually choose any 2 points that are on the line and you'll still get the same slope as long as you do your calculations correctly. They gave us 2 points to work with though, so we're going to stick with those. So this one's coordinates are 1, 2. This one's coordinates are -2, -2. So we're going to use 1, 2 for x1, y1. And we're going to use -2, -2 for x2, y2. So filling into the slope formula, oh, by the way, M stands for slope. I have no idea why. Anyhow, so the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, the y2 is the y value from the second point, so -2, minus y1, so the y value from the first point, so -2 there. And on the bottom, we've got x2, so that's the x value from the second point, so -2 again. And x1 is the x value from the first point, so -1 there. So then we just have to calculate. So we're going to do the subtraction on the top. -2 minus -2 is -4. And -2 minus 1 on the bottom is -3. And when you have a negative divided by a negative, it becomes positive. So the slope on this one would actually just be 4/3. Now you're going to try to find the slope of line Q. So using the same picture, line Q. So this time you're going to pause the video. You're going to find the slope of line Q, and then you'll come back and check and see how you did. All right, welcome back. So for this one, I chose -3, 2 from line Q, the point -3, 2, to be my x1, y1, and I chose 2, 0 for my x2, y2. Those could be different. You could choose 2, 0 for x1, y1. You'll still get the same result. So then I use the formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then I just calculated. So 0 minus 2 is -2. 2 minus a -3 is like 2 plus 3. So that's 5. So this would be a negative divided by a positive. So the result is negative on that one. So this is -2/5. Forgot to mention before, it's a good idea to check, particularly if you have a picture to work with already. If your slope comes out negative, that means the line should be trending downward as you move from left to right on your picture. And if the slope is positive, then that means the line should be trending upward from left to right. So that's a quick way to kind of check and make sure that your calculations make sense. All right, now we're going to do another example here. This time, they're not going to give me a picture to work with. They're just going to tell me a couple of points that are on the lines. So for our first one here, it says line S passes through the points -1, 2, and -1, -5. So we're going to substitute in -1, 2 for x1, y1, and -1, -5 for x2, y2. And again, those are interchangeable. You can put them in either order you want to, as long as you stick with it. So for our slope here, we use the slope formula still, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y2 is -5. The y1 is 2. So -5 minus 2 on the top. On the bottom, x2 is -1 minus, and the x1 is also -1. So that comes out to -5 minus 2 is -7. -1 minus a -1, that's like -1 plus 1. So that's 0. And anything divided by 0 is undefined. So this one would have what we call an undefined slope. An undefined slope is actually a vertical line. So if I were to plot these 2 points, they would be one directly above the other. Now you're going to try one over here for the slope of line T. These are a couple of points that they give us for line T. So pause the video again and then come back and see how you did. All right, welcome back. So on this one, when you subtract the numerators, subtract the y values, you get a 0. When you subtract the x values, you get a number that's not 0. So this time we have a 0 again, but the 0 is in the numerator instead of the denominator. Now when you take 0 and you divide it by anything, you get 0 as a result. So this one is 0, not undefined. When you have a slope of 0, that would be actually a horizontal line. If you think about it, that makes a whole lot of sense because a negative slope means it's trending downward from left to right, and a positive slope means it's trending upward from left to right. So right in between those, you would have horizontal, not trending up or down. All right, so now at the bottom here, we've got a little review of the things that I mentioned there about positive slope, negative slope, a 0 slope, and an undefined slope. So we've got all of these as examples here. I called this trending. This says just the line rises from left to right. That's just another way to say that. I do want to point out that this is some pretty common notation that you see in mathematics. This is saying that the slope is greater than 0, which is a very concise way to say the slope is positive. This one says the slope is less than 0. Less than 0 is negative, so this is just saying the slope is negative. This would say the slope is equal to 0, and this says the slope is undefined.